Hello everyone, welcome to our next class. In this class, we are going to study about two different type of memories. The first one is auxiliary memory, and the second type of memory which we are going to discuss today is CAM, which is content addressable memory. So we also call it as auxiliary memory, associative memory. Now, first of all, let us discuss about auxiliary memory. Now, auxiliary memory comes in different devices. So, first of all, we are going to discuss about magnetic tape and the disks which we use or hard disk drive. Now, in this case, there is a slight difference between auxiliary memory types. Now, there are two type of auxiliary memories which we have. First one is on a random based, and the other one is sequential. Now, what is the difference between random and sequential? In the case of random memories, we can access any content at any location inside that memory at any time. Whereas in the case of sequential, we need to fast forward or reverse the disk or reverse the tape to read that particular block of data. So if we want to read a certain portion of that file, then we need to move it forward or reverse, which was the same as we had the audio cassettes or video cassettes which we were using earlier. So it was in that format. So they were all coming under sequential type of memories. Now the next type is random memory. So in random memory, you can access any location at any time. Now in this case, most of the devices which we are using right now, they comes under random access because in your computer, most of the memories which we use are random access. Not most, all the memories which we are using are random access right now. Magnetic tapes were used in computers, but now they are obsolete. We are not using them anymore. So right now, what we are using is random access, in which your hard disk drive, your SSD drive, your RAM, cache, register. So all the memories which we are using right now, they comes under random access. Means you can access any part of that memory whenever you want without forwarding or reversing it. But as a backend, it forward and reverses it. But you, if you want to read, you need not to do anything. It does all the work of shifting the head or platter or referencing the different address by its own. You don't need to do anything. Okay, so that is our random access memory. CD drives, DVD drives, they also come under random access memory. So this is all about our auxiliary memory. Then after this, we have a special type of a memory which is known as associative memory. Now associative memory is different from the other memories in one way. So we'll discuss about why it is different. Why do we have a separate section for it? Now, till now, whatsoever memories you have studied, all were having a address. Like there were two fields in it. One was address and the other was content. So on one side we were having addresses like 1, 2, 3, and there was some data. So this was the data, and on this side we were having address. So in this we were having some address lines available, and we were also having some data lines available. So how we were searching the data or how we were writing the data, it was with the help of this address. Address was the most important thing while we are going to search any data or while we are going to write any data. So whatsoever we was performing, everything was done with the help of the address. But in the case of associative memory, we no longer need this address. Now the data is not placed on a address. Then the question is, how do we will search the data or how we will write the data? Now the thing is, in associative memory, the searching is done by using data itself. If I want to search certain data, I will use data to search. Now this is a very type of confusing statement that how we will do this. Now let us take an example of our PPT which we are doing. So this is just an example. If I want to search anything, like if I want to perform any kind of search, what we can do is I can escape this mode. I can press Control F. So this is what it is asking. It is asking what you want to find. So if I want to find anything related to associative, I will write associative, right? So I will write it and I will search. Now see what it is showing. It is showing me different results for it. What I have given it, I have given it some data. Even if I give this data ASSO, I give this data, still it is going to search. Now, how it is performing the search? It is performing all the searches by using data itself. So there is certain content which is stored, and it is we are searching for that content by data itself. We are not using address. I'm not aware where this particular data is stored. I don't know its address. What I know is that there are certain words in it which I want to search. So I gave it some data. According to that data, it searched the content for me. So that is what we have in a associative memory. So that is what we have, or what we do in the case of associative memory. So in associative memory, we use data to search data. So where that data is given, so we have certain registers for it in which we are going to write the data which we want to search. So in the case of associative memory, the first register which is of utmost importance, that is argument register. Argument register is represented by a value A. So in this case, we are going to use a value A for it. So argument register is A. In this register, we are going to give the content which we want to search. Then there is another register which is key register. We call it as K register. This is known as A register, argument register. This is known as K register or key register. Then we have associative memory. Inside that associative memory, we have words. Inside those words, we have different bits which are going to store the data. So there are different bits. This is one word, and there are different bits in it. Now, these memories are a little bit expensive as compared to your normal memory, which refers with the help of address. Now, in this case, we are not using the address, so we need certain mechanism to match the data. So to match that data, we build a circuit which is on the memory itself. Like in this case, if we are having 8 bits in one word, right? If we are having 8 bits in one word, each of the cell, like this is known as a cell. Now, one small cell or part of a memory, it is a kind of a circuit. It is a flip-flop actually. It is not a cell. I just called it cell. It is a flip-flop. This flip-flop circuit will be having a particular design to match a value. Like if I want to match or I want to search this word, I will be having certain mechanism to find that word because I'm not no longer using the address. There is no address for this word. So I need certain mechanism to identify that whether it is matching with the content which I want to search or not. So that is what we need to have. And that circuit is embedded on each and every cell of your memory. If there are 8 flip-flops in this, there will be 8 circuits in one word. If there are 128 words and 8 bits in each, so just multiply 128 into 8. Those many number of circuits are there which are used to match the data. So that is why it is little bit expensive as compared to the other type of memory. Now, this was about the word, how the data is stored. Now let us talk about the value key. This, it is very important. Key is used to simply, you can say, to ease the process of searching. Now, just see if I have 8 bits of data and I have to search all the 8 bits. I want to compare all the 8 bits. It will be very long process. It will take a lot of time. So we use this key value to work as a you can say a register which will reduce the task of comparison. Like otherwise, this is the argument register. Like if I want to search some content which is 0111000 something like any data which we have at this place, I want to search it in this word or in this memory. I will need to compare this all the 8 bits with all the content which I have in my memory. So that will be a very lengthy task. So instead of doing that, what we do is we use a key register. Now in this key register, there is one assumption which we have. If the value of key, if the value of key is equal to 1, then compare. Then we have to compare the data. If the value of keys is equal to 1, then we are going to compare the data. But if it is 0, then we will assume that it is a match without even comparing. We don't compare the data if the value of key is 0. We don't compare the data. We simply assume that it is a match without even comparing, without even searching for it. If all the values in the key register are 0, it means all the data is matching. That's it. But if it is 1, then we need to compare. So now let us take an example which they have taken. So let us take a similar example. They have used 9 bits, so I will be taking the 9 bits in it. Now how this is going to work out, like in this case, there are 9 bits in key, there are 9 bits in the argument register as well. Now I will input the data which I want to search. Now in their example, they have taken this data as 1011111 and double zero. So this is the content for which I am searching. Now next is the value of key. Now key value, who decides this? Now key value is decided by your system according to the priority, like what kind of search it wants to do. If you want to search the data very easily or very fast, then the value of key will be 1 at less number of places. If they are high, then the time which it is going to take will be higher. It is done with the help of your system. So if I am searching for the first three words and the rest are zero. Now in this case, what will happen? My system will only search first three bits from the A register and compare them with the content which is stored inside the memory. So like in their case, which they have discussed, there are 100, 111, 100. Then in the second one, sorry, 1010000 and 1. Now, according to this, what we have now, we are going to compare the data, and which data we are going to compare? We are only going to compare this data, like these three bits, and all the others are considered as match automatically. Whether they are matching or not, we are not bothered about it. The only thing which we are concerned is what is the value inside the key. If the value is 0, we will not check anything. We say this is a match. This data and this data is same. Whether it is same or not doesn't matter. Now, according to this concept, if these are the three values which we are going to match, this value is 100. This value is 101. So it is not matching. This value is 101. This value is 101. Both are matching. So my associative memory will say this is a match and this value is not a match. Now, what is the reason behind it? The reason is these three values are 1. If these three values are 0, so I will say this is a match, this is a match, both are matching. Okay, we are not going to compare anything, we simply say everything is matching. But if there are more number of ones in this, so then we will compare which one is matching. Now in this case, only the decision is done on the basis of highest significant bits. We decided which is matching, which is not. If we increase this number, there is a trade-off between both the things. If I increase the number of ones inside this key, my results will be more accurate, but it will take more time to process. So either you can work on speed or you get accurate result. Okay? So if I increase these number of bits, my result will be slower, but it will be more accurate. Whereas if I decrease the number of ones in the key register, the results will be very fast, but they might be or might not be accurate. Now let us do the reverse of it. If this value which we are having, all these values are 1 and these values are 0, let us see how this makes a difference. Now these three are considered as match, so we are not bothered about these three because now the value in key is 0, so they are considered as match. Let us compare these values. This is 1, this is 1 match, this is 1, this is 1 match, this is 1, this is 1 match, this one match, match, match. So now this is a match, but this is not a match. By changing the values inside the key will decide which values are matching, which values are not matching. Now it might be possible, instead of just checking these values, if I want to find out a match, instead of having this value, even if I do like this, still it is a same result. Even if I do it like this, still same result. If I do it like this, still same result. These values are matching, other values are not. So still it is able to find out a match, and that match is find out by only comparing two values. So now there is a slight trade-off between these two things. So you need to decide, or your system decides what type of results it wants. Like if I'm searching for M in this, and my total key is memory, I want to search for memory. If there is any you can say word which is containing memory in it, and there is some other word as well, so it will show me both the results. So the similar thing is here. Even if there is not a complete content, but some content is matching, it will show that as a result. Now how this matching process works, we don't have any key, sorry, we have a key but we don't have any address. Now each and every cell on our computer, in our associative memory which we are having at this place, all the cells on this are containing a circuit on it. And if all the values inside a circuit are matching, then only a match figure is given. Like in this case, this is 0, all these values are compared and they are matching, so then only a match resultant can be found. If there is a single bit which is not matching, like in this case, if this value is 0 and other values are 1, so even though out of 9 8 bits are matching, still it will be considered as not a match. Now the reason is one value out of 9 is not matching. So wherever the value of key is 1, that value should be same in the case of match. If it is not a match, even if there is a single bit change, still it will be considered as not a match case. So match will only be there if the values which we are searching by using the key are same in A as well as in your memory. Then only there is a match. Now To implement this thing, they have a separate circuit on each and every bit of your memory. So there is a particular circuit here. Now that circuit helps us to perform two things. First one, it helps us to store the data. What data we are going to do? Store at this place. That is what it tells. Second, it helps you to read the data from this place. Third, it helps you to compare the data. So three things are achieved by that circuit which we are going to use at this place. Now this circuit which we will be using at this place is shown in the next slide. This is the circuit which is shown here is a circuit which is installed at this place. Likewise, we will be having 8 such circuits in one row. There will be 8 such circuits. Now what is the task of this? Let us check it. What we are given with. Now this one bit which we were having is now represented with the help of a circuit. Now this is a circuit. We have a AND gate here. So this is a S and R flip flop, which is SR flip flop which we did earlier. Okay, set reset flip flop. Then here is a write signal. Now this is a write data. If you want to write the data, this is the content which you want to send as a input. Then we have a read line here. This is a read line. If you want to read the content, this is connected here, and this S is also connected to a match logic. Now match logic is something which is used to compare the values which we have done at this place. This is an argument register and key register. So this is related, this circuit is related to a single bit like this place. So AJ and KJ are the mapping logics, matching logics. So one is represented A, one is representing K. So this is what we have. Now if one bit is not matching, like this is for a single bit. If there are 8 bits in a register, in a row or in one word, and one bit is not matching, then the resultant will be no match, because out of 8, one is not matching. But there are certain conditions for it. We will discuss about that condition as well. Now, in this case, what we have, now imagine this as a value of A. This is a value A, first value of A, second bit of A, third bit of A, and nth bit of A. A is your argument register. Then for same, we have K's first bit, K's second bit, K's third bit, and K's nth bit for your n number of, you can say, key bits. Then similar thing is there for C. Now this is the memory. Inside memory we will have different circuits. So this is C11, C12, C13, C1N. Now what is this? I'm just using a different representation. You can use the representation which is used in your slide. So you can use that. So whereas this is representing word and J is representing bit in the word. So bit means this is the second bit, this is the third bit, this is the nth bit. So according to that. So if this is C21, C22, C23, C24 means second row or second word and nth bit. First bit, second row, second bit, second row, third bit, second row, nth bit. Similarly, it shows all of them. Okay. Now this comparison is done only for this bit. Like This is for only this bit. So we are just concerned about this. So how it is going to compare? First of all, we will give the value of A. You can say input. Like if we are going to write any content, okay, like if we have some input in this value, if we want to enter some data, so we will give that data at this place. Now let us assume, like I want to write some content. Now I will show you three operations at this place. First one is how to input the data inside the memory. Second one, how to read the data from this memory. And the third one is how to match the content. So these three things will be covered inside a single diagram. So first of all, let us see how our write operation works. Like if I want to, because this is a circuit on which only a single bit will be processed. So this is my input. So my input is 1. I want to enter a value 1. If I want to write, it means I will need to enable the write line as well. Both the values will be 1. So this value will be 0 at this place. Write value is 1. This write value is 1. This value is 1. So 1 and 1, the set value becomes 1, and 1 and 0, reset value is 0. So this is 0 and set is 1. So if set is 1, what happens in the SR flip flop? If you remember the circuit of SR, if S and R was there, if the value of set was 1 and reset was 0, the operation was set to 1. If this was 0, this was 1, then clear to 0. If both were 0, then no change. If it was 1, so it was indeterminate state. So this was the SR flip flop. So now it is going to work in the same fashion. Both are 1, this value is 1, so it means SR is 1, set to 1. So output will be 1 in this case. Now this output is 1. Okay, so it has stored the content. The input was 0 and output is, oh sorry, input was 1, output is 1. It means this content is stored. Now just imagine this value might be a 0. Then if it was 0, then 1 and 0 is 0. Okay. If this value is 0, my output will be 0. And this value is 1. This value will become 1 because there is a NOT gate. 1 and 1 is 1. Then reset will be 1. If reset is 1, it means the output will be 0. So now in this case, the output will be 0. So whatsoever input I will give, the same output I will get at this place. Now this is how the write operation is done. This was the first operation which I was supposed to tell you. So write operation is done in this way. Whatsoever input we will give, same output we are going to get. Now let us talk about read operation. How to read the content. Now if we want to read the content, what we need to do is we are going to enable this line of read. If this read line is 1, then this will be 1, this is 0. 1 and 0 is 0. It means whatsoever content was here is now at the output. So read operation is done by enabling the read line only. If this content have been 1, just imagine that this content was 1, then 1 and 1 output is 1, which means we are able to read the content which we have stored. So this is the second operation, that is read. Now let us talk about the third operation, which is match. How to match the content. This is important. Now to do this, let me just remove this part. Now let us see how to read the content, how to match the content. This value, which is A value, which we have seen here, this value. Now I will take this case. This value is 1, so A is 1. Value of K is 1, value of K is 1. The first bit of the word is 1, means this output is 1. Whatsoever is stored in the word will be considered as the value as the output which we are getting. So this word is 1. So all the values are 1. It means K is 1, So if k is 1, we are comparing these two values. Now, are they same? Yes. If they are same, what is my output? It is a match case. Now, this match case which we are having, it is only for a single bit inside the word. This bit only. So this is saying it is a match. The first result which we have got from here is a match. Like this bit is matching. Okay. So then if we search for the second bit, let us compare this again. Let us compare the second bit. Now the output is 0. Okay. The value of aj is 0. This is for the second bit operation. Then the value of k is 1. We compare. Are they matching? Yes. So it means the second bit is also saying there is a match. Let us see the third bit. Third bit, the value of aj is 1. The value of k is 1. The value of this is 0. Are they matching? No. So if they are not matching, this is a no match or not a match. Now, for rest all of the values, if the value of k is 0, so whether the values are matching or not, we consider that they are matching. They are matching. So we don't check anything. We simply blindly say they are matched. So whether the value is same or not doesn't matter. But if the value of k is 0, it means they all are matched. Now all the values are matching. These all are matches. But there is only a single value which is not matching. If I sum up or if I perform a AND of all these operations or all these match, non-match and all, the resultant will be a not a match. Why? Because this is not a OR operation between all. It is a AND operation between all of them. If I perform a AND operation between all of them, my answer would be not a match because one value is not matching. If all the values are matching, then only my resultant will be a match. But in this case, not all the values are matching. There is a single value which is not matching. So then it is not a match in the out. So this is how we get the matching and non-matching done in the case of this circuit. So there is one match logic which they have constructed to make these things easy. Now, what is that content? I will just show you how to compare them. What they say is, if there is a match, if you want to find out whether the complete word matches or not, what you need to do is you have to perform the summation starting from j is equal to I to n, means all the values, like if there are 8 bits then n will be 8, if there are 15 bits so n will be 15 according to that. When we will find a match? No, it is only possible if the value of aj, which is this value, dot the value which we get at this place. Now in this case we were giving it a value ci11. In that representation they are they have replaced it with a value known as fij. So they have replaced it. They are simply saying that if this value aj dot fij, either both are 1 or either both are 0, या तो दोनों 0 हो, either these two should be 1 or these two should be 0, or the value of kj dash should be there. Like when there will be a match, either this condition follows, like these two values are 0 0, 1 1, either this condition follows, or both should be 0 0, or this condition should follow, like both of them should be 0 0, or the value of kj should be 0. If the value of kj is 0, it will be assumed to be a match. So these are the three conditions for which there is a match. So this is a matching condition. And this is has to be summed up for all the bits. Like if we are having 8 bits in a word, this condition should follow for all the 8. Then we will be considering it as a match. Otherwise, if one of the bit is not following this value, then it will be considered as a non-match. That is what we are telling at this place. So this is what they are telling. If j is equal to 1, sorry, to n, aj, fij, or aj is dash, fij is dash, plus kj dash, that one value should be dash. And that is why I was saying that it is not a or operation for all the values, it is a and operation. So that is why they have included this and operation here. Whatsoever result you get from this, the resultant will be added ended for all the bits. And if all the bits are following this condition, then only the match value is there. If there is a single bit which is not matching, this will be considered as a non-match. So this is all about our associative memory. So there is one thing, they have shown it as a XOR gate, but actually it is an AND gate. Okay. So next, in the next class, we will be discussing about cache memory, virtual memory, and how these memories are used, as well as we will also discuss about what are the different type of associative memories which we have and how do they work. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.